Testing, testing.
Oh, over in yeah, good question. It's like fantastical. All right. Oh yeah, and that's your pen. So hang on to that. And I'm gonna go ahead and start in prelude in a sec. All right. Thank you. You are so welcome. Thank you. You don't want to go down green? All right. Yep. Go for it. Yeah. Right after
Testing.
welcoming. Yeah. Check, check. It's a sound check. It's a sound check. And I'm checking the mic levels. And I'm singing into the mic again. How's that sound out there,
Check,
Brad?
check. 1, 2, 3. Check, check. 1, 2, 3.
No, it's not. Oh. Oh, how weird. How did that happen? Oh, there it is. Okay, it's like it's welcome. Just like okay, there we go. I was gonna be like, wait a second, it's not there. I was gonna be very confused. Oh, viriditas digiti Dei in qua Deus constituit lantationem quae in excelso resplendet ut statua columna tu gloriosa in preparatione Dei.
Come into our house of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. We welcome the certain and the seeking, the long-timers and the newcomers, the beloved and the brokenhearted. All of you can find a home at Throop, where we go love the world from the heart of Pasadena and from the heart of our homes. Welcome to our friends joining us by live stream. We're glad you're here, and to all of you here in the sanctuary this morning. Today, Throop's minister, Reverend Tara Landers, is away, and my name is Reverend Liz Murphy, and I'm so happy and pleased to return to this wonderful community today as your guest minister. Yay! Oh, it's so wonderful. As many of you know, I served as this congregation's intern minister from 2019 to 2021. So Throop feels kind of like a second home to me, and it's so good to be back in this space with you all today. So many good hugs this morning. More to come, I'm sure. I'm currently working as a staff chaplain at the VA hospital in Loma Linda, and I love my work as a chaplain. It's meaningful and life-giving, but it's always special to return to UU community for connection and worship on Sundays. So if you are new to Throop or are coming back after a long time away like me, we would love to stay connected with you. Please fill out an info card found in the pew in front of you. And if you're online, sign our online guest book. Welcome. We're so glad you're here.
Each one of us is a light in the world. The flame from our chalice symbolizes and reflects that light. Our time together in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. As a symbol of that connection, we light our chalice with love, compassion, and justice with these words from Paul Sprecher. We light this chalice for the web of life which sustains us, for the sacred circle of life in which we have our being, for the earth, the sky, above and below, and for our Mother Earth, and for the mystery. We light a second candle to honor the people and ancestors whose lands we now occupy. The land under and around Throop was once, and is still, the home of the Gabrielino Tongva Band of Mission Indian people. May this knowledge and awareness lead us into seeking justice and equity for all. We light a third candle symbolizing our watershed, the Arroyo Seco. May their waters continue to nourish life in our communities. We take a moment of silence, holding all of these in our hearts.
I invite you to stand in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn, Blue Boat Home, number 1064. Blue Boat Home, 1064. invite you to welcome your neighbor this morning as we joyfully gather together again this morning. Amen. Thank you to our choir and our musicians, our music director. Our responsive reading this morning comes from Richard Gilbert. And as Throop continues its celebration of 30 Days for Earth, these words seem written for this Sunday. They are the Beatitudes for Earth Sunday. The responsive words remain the same for each Sunday this month. With the help of our music director, we will practice those to start, and then we'll move into our responsive reading.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return.
Blessed are the heavens, for they declare the power of creation. Blessed is the earth, our beloved home, for she is a planet of plenitude.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. The earth, the water, the fire,
return, 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 return.
The water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
Blessed are the waters thereon, for they gave rise to living things. Blessed is the land, for it is the source of life abundant.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
Blessed is the air we breathe, for it fires us to life and love. Blessed are the beasts of the field, for they are glorious to behold.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
Blessed are the birds of the air, for they carve a graceful arc in the sky. Blessed are the mountains and the seas and the valleys, for their variety makes rich our habitat.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
Blessed are the fields of grain, the orchards of fruit, for they give sustenance, asking nothing in return. Blessed are the dwellers on earth, for they cherish the privilege of living upon it.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
And finally, blessed are they who protect the earth and all her creatures, from the plants of the field to the trees of the forest. For their reward shall be harmony with the web of existence. Rejoice and be glad, for the earth and her people are one.
The water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
The earth, the water, the fire, the air.
Return, 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 return.
May it be so. Throop, as we continue to honor the 30 Days for the Earth, our lesson this morning touches on our 7th UU principle, which calls us toward respecting the interdependent web of all existence, of which each of us are a part. We'll be reading a book called Outside In, which is written by Deborah Underwood and illustrated by Cindy Derby. And I'd like to invite any little ones and their people who'd like to come forward now to sit with me up here on the chancel as we read today's book. You're welcome to come forward. All right, come on up. Grab a seat. Hello, good morning. Welcome. All right. So this is our book this morning, Outside In, beautifully illustrated. This is going to talk a little bit about the world around us. Once we were part of outside, and outside was part of us. There was nothing between us. Now, sometimes even when we're outside, we're inside. We forget outside is there. So outside reminds us with flashes at the window and slow magic tricks. It sends the sunset and shadows inside to play. Outside sings to us with chirps and rustles and taps, taps on the roof. We had lots of taps, taps this winter. It beckons with smells, sun-baked, thank you, fresh and mysterious. Outside feeds us. Sun, rain, and seeds become warm bread and berries. Outside cuddles us in clothes, once puffs of cotton. It holds us in wooden chairs, once trees. We feel outside in the warm weight of our cats and the rough fur of our dogs. Outside shows us there is a time to rest and a time to start fresh. Outside steals inside, a spider seeking shelter. A box elder bug in the bath, a tiny snail on kale. Even rivers come inside, cool water rushing, eager to return to the sea. I'm here, outside says. I miss you. Outside waits. And we answer. And we answer. May it be so. Thanks for joining me this morning. Thanks for helping me read upside down. Turns out it's really hard. All right, now we're going to sing our young ones out into their Kids Dig In program.
For you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. For you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. Blessed be.
Our reading this morning comes from Hildegard of Bingen, the source of inspiration for our service today. As we'll learn more later in the service, Hildegard was a 12th century Benedictine nun, author, mystic, and musician. This poem of hers is called Viriditas, which is her concept that combines the Latin words of green and truth. And I think this work beautifully affirms our interconnectedness with the earth, as well as joyfully affirms our place here on this planet. She writes, "I am the one whose praise echoes on high. I adorn all the earth. I am the breeze that nurtures all things green. I encourage blossoms to flourish with ripening fruits. I am led by the Spirit to feed the purest streams. I am the rain coming from the dew that causes the grasses to laugh with the joy of life. I call forth tears. I am the yearning for good."
Beyond, beyond, it sounds full of wind and mist, doesn't it? It means other things exist, doesn't it? Beyond, beyond, it says, Adam, leave your list, doesn't it, Father? Why does my head feel this joy and this dread since the moment I said beyond? I've got an itching on the tips of my fingers. I've got a burning in the back of my brain. There is a hunger burning inside me, cannot be denied. I've got a feeling that the mother who made us, when she was kindling the pulse in my veins, she left a tiny spark of that fire smoldering inside. The spark of creation is flickering within me. The spark of creation is blazing in my blood. A bit of the fire that lit up the stars and breathed life into the mud. The first inspiration, the spark of creation. I see a mountain and I want to climb it. I see a river and I want to leave shore. Where there is nothing, let there be something, something made by me. There's worlds waiting for me to invent them. There's worlds waiting for me to explore. I am an echo of the eternal cry of let there be. The spark of creation burning bright within me. The spark of creation won't let me rest at all until I discover or build or uncover a thing that I can call my celebration of the spark of creation. The spark of creation, may it burn forever. The spark of creation, I'm a keeper of the flame. We think all we want is a lifetime of pleasure, each perfect day the same. And this vacation, well, that's all right if you're a kind of crustacean, but when you're born with an imagination, sooner or later you're feeling the fire get hotter and higher. The spark of creation.
This church is our church. We support it through our gifts of time, our gifts of talent, and our gifts of treasure. You can give online. The link is in the order of worship. But if you're here in the room, you can place your donation in the offering plate. If you would like your donation to count toward your pledge, please use a green envelope and write your name on it. And if you are a first-time visitor, please let the offering plate pass you by. Thank you for supporting our life together. The offering will now be gratefully received.
My blood doth rise in the roots of yon oak. Her sap doth run in my veins. Boundless my soul like the open sky, where the stars forever have lain. Where the stars, where the stars, where the stars forever have lain. My hands hold the weavings of time without end. My sight as deep as the sea. Beating my heart sounds the measures of old, that of love's eternity. That of love, that of love, that of love's eternity. I feel the tides as they answer the moon, rushing on a far distant sand. Waving my song is the wind in my breast, and love blows over the land. And my love, and my love, and my love blows over the land. My foot carries days of the old into new. Our dreaming shows us the way. Wondrous our faith settles deep in the earth, rising green to bring a new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to greet the new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to greet the new day.
In a spirit of gratitude, we lift up our thanks to those supporting our worship service today. Brad on a live stream, Rachel singing our interlude, Jamie leading our children's program, Terry acting as greeter and usher, Cynthia making coffee and helping to host conversation, of course, Megan on music, Hillary for all her administrative support, and of course, Reverend Liz Murphy for visiting us today. As we give thanks for this offering and all the ways we support our Throop community life, please say with me the words in your order of service. For the ministries of the church in our community, we bless our offering with love and hope.
And as Throop does every Sunday, we also will share our promise to our planet. Those words are also listed in your order of service. Let us read those together. As members of the family of living beings on earth, we are guided by the Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. With hearts filled with love for it, eyes nurtured by its beauty, and minds ruminating on ways to protect its sacred and scarce resources, we promise to nurture the well-being of all life and of the planet itself. please join us in singing our centering hymn, number 83, Winds Be Still.
Winds be still, storm clouds pass and silence come. Peace grace this time with harmony. Fly, bird of hope, and shine, light of love, and in calm let all find tranquility. Bird fly high, lift our gaze toward distant view, help us to sense life's mystery. Fly high and far, and lead us each to see how we move through the winds of eternity. Light shine in, illuminate our inward view, help us to see with clarity. Shine bright and true, so we may join our songs in new sounds that become full symphony.
And as we continue this time of illuminating our inward view, of finding a sense of grounding and centering within our bodies and spirits, we're going to move now into a time of shared stillness. For those of you in the sanctuary and those at home, wherever you are seated or standing, I invite you to find a comfortable seat, comfortable place, wherever you reside. You can put your hands on your lap, or if you need a little extra tenderness this morning, you can put them over your heart, over your chest. And if you haven't already, I invite you to allow your eyelids to slowly flutter to a close. Or if it's more comfortable, allow your gaze to soften downward. Let us take a cleansing breath in and out together. And I invite you now to let these meditative words by George Tiger to flow within you and around you now. O power of springtime, spirit of green grasses and warm breezes, goddess of creativity, of birth, of life renewed, you sing all about us at this time. The birds call your sacred name. Buds burst forth with your vestment. The sun reaches higher into the sky, shining the light of this new day. Through the windows of your cathedral, this world. O power of springtime, forgive us our speediness and our racing before your eternal grace, that we do not see the miracle that we share. Open our eyes with your warmth and our hearts with your beauty. Slow our minds with awe and wonder. Dear Spirit of green grasses and warm breezes, let us find here, in this moment of quiet, the grace of your breath as we breathe into our bodies the spirit of springtime. Let us take a few moments now to dwell in this sacred quiet together. With these words from the Reverend Lynn Cox, let us pray. Spirit of life, ground of our being, root of unified mystery, bring us together now. Bring us close to the earth, ear to the whispering grass, quietly, attentively, waiting with slow breaths. Listening to the very stones to cry out with their rocky stories of tectonic plates meeting and parting and meeting, their mineral memories of earlier days, molten rocks flowing and joining, their ancient legends of stars born out of the collapse of other stars. Help us to remember. Help us to piece together our oneness with matter, our oneness that matters. With one more deep breath, may we rise, star stuff, walking and rolling across the surface of an impossible blue-green planet. May we join together to heal what is divided. May we find wholeness within, without, among, between. Eternal Source, seed of the universe, help us to grow peace. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. As we take a final cleansing breath, may we appreciate the musical reflection, Golden Breaks the Dawn, number 353. Golden Breaks the Dawn.
Golden breaks the dawn, comes the eastern sun, over the lake and lawn, sets its course to run. Birds above us fly, flowers in bloom below. Through the earth and sky, life's great mysteries flow. As the spinning globe rolls away the night, nature wears a robe spun of morning light. Dawn came it with love.
Again, I have to say what a joy it is to be with you all today. And during your final Sunday of 30 Days for the Earth, no less. I'm honored and a little nervous, too. I mean, this is like Throop's Super Bowl. Spending 2 years with you all, I know just how important the earth and the majesty of nature is not only to all of you, but to your understanding of spirituality and community. It's a trait I tried to carry with me wherever I go as a minister and chaplain, because it's a constant source of inspiration and hope. And I spent a little time this morning walking through the garden once again. It's amazing to see all the things that have grown taller and wider, the things that have gotten pruned back, and those that have been planted anew. The many colors of the rainbow are represented along that zigzagging path. There are tall bushes and trees and short, squat flowers. The bees are buzzing and the butterflies are pollinating. And of course, the compost is breaking down, the cycle of life beginning again from all that has wilted and died. From death comes life, and on it goes. And Throop's garden is alive. It's a kinetic, creative place that requires many hands to keep it thriving and verdant. A sort of viriditas exists in the garden just outside these walls. And as we learned earlier in service, that word, viriditas, is a Latin term coined by Hildegard of Bingen. It's a combination of the words green and truth, and speaks to the creative power of life. And as Hildegard wrote, viriditas is an essential feature of the sacred, as well as something each one of us has inherently with us. The greening power of life is in us and around us always. And I know you're probably thinking, what can we really learn from a 12th century Benedictine abbess from Germany? I think we can learn something. And I think her theology, her writing, her music all speak into our understanding of life and the beyond as Unitarian Universalists. For this final Sunday of your 30 Days for the Earth celebration, Hildegard reminds us of our interconnectedness to everything around us. It's a beautiful illustration and echo of our seventh principle as you use. The principle which states our respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. You see, Hildegard found the divine and great inspiration in the natural world around her. She also leaned into the complexities of life, with viriditas being a beautifully layered concept. As we read earlier, she wrote, "I am the one whose praise echoes on high. I adorn all the earth. I am the breeze that nurtures all things green. I encourage blossoms to flourish with ripening fruits. I am led by the Spirit to feed the purest streams. I am the rain, coming from the dew that causes the grasses to laugh with the joy of life. I call forth tears. I am the yearning for good." These words are a sort of definition of viriditas. It's a grand affirmation and proclamation, a statement of identity and purpose, and it's dripping with joy. It's full of love, it's full of promise, and I think there is something for us to learn here, something prescient for the time and age we are in now. How might we embody the yearning for good? How might we adorn all the earth? And as we ponder these questions this morning, I think it's important for us to understand who the person that is, Hildegard was in her time. How did this woman, living in quiet and closed community, living nearly 900 years ago, become someone whose life and works continue to have echoes in our world today? She was born in 1098 in West Franconia, which we know now as Germany. Today, we would see she was born close to the Belgian border on the western portion of the country. She was the 10th child born into a fairly wealthy family, but she faced some adversity from a young age. She dealt with a chronic illness that was debilitating and disruptive. Scholars now believe she may have had severe chronic migraines, which were not understood well in that time. So, at age 8, her parents sent her away. They sent her to a Benedictine monastery that had just recently added a section for women. She lived under the care of a female resident there, and Hildegard's parents said she was now the family's tithe to God. It's a lot of pressure for an 8-year-old, but... In time, the convent grew, and more women joined their ranks. And it's important to note that convents at this time were perhaps the one place in Western society where women were able to learn to read, to write, to study, and grow their intellect and interests. Without the pressures of raising and rearing children, women in the convent had the opportunity to instead focus their interests elsewhere. Hildegard took this opportunity and ran with it. She was a voracious reader, pouring into philosophy and science and medicine. And it didn't stop there. Hildegard loved music and composition. Her work, Ordo Virtutum, is a play set to music. And while it's not exactly what we would call an opera, many scholars believe that without this piece, we may not have opera as we know it today. Her work planted the seed for this entire field of musical creativity and creation. And Megan will be beautifully playing some of her musical work today. Her creativity, intellect, and leadership primed her to take on the role of head of the convent at age 38. And as she took the helm, she made another radical move. She convinced the church leadership to allow the women to move their convent about 18 miles away, out of the shadow of the men's monastery. This gave Hildegard and the women of the convent considerable freedom during a time when that was almost unheard of. And as you might expect, she gained some enemies within the hierarchy of the church. She was accomplished in many fields, a polymath by many accounts, and did not back down from her belief in what was right. And she was a woman. And in one major flashpoint, she approved the burial of a man who had been excommunicated by the church. But Hildegard ensured that he had last rites and was able to be laid to rest on the convent's grounds. She told the male church authority that God was on her side in this debate, that their politics did not supersede the human need for a proper memorial for this person. And when the church authorities discovered that she had defied them and allowed the man to be buried there, they excommunicated the entire convent, and perhaps even worse for Hildegard, barred them from singing. The authorities also demanded that the body be exhumed. But once again, Hildegard refused the exhumation and instead appealed to a higher authority. Eventually, the excommunication and the rule against singing was lifted. Justice for Hildegard was served. So talk about a life, right? Hildegard was unabashed about her beliefs and maintained an integral connection to her understanding of God and the divine. And of course, she was not perfect. She was just like the rest of us. She still held many beliefs about the role of women and the authority of church that would fly in the face of our understandings today. But her commitment to something beyond the trappings of human institution and the rules of the day remain an inspiration. Her work continues to influence and empower. And her concept of Viriditas continues to hold an essential truth that can inspire today. Because of her view of an intrinsic connection with nature around her, she became an expert in holistic medicine, understanding that just as humans can nurture and heal the earth can nurture and heal humanity. She wrote, "I blaze above the beauty of the fields. I shine in the waters. I burn in the sun and the moon and the stars. And with the airy wind, I quicken all things to life, as with an invisible life that sustains them all. For the air lives in Viriditas and in the flowers, and the waters flow as if alive, and the sun lives within its own light. And when the moon has waned, it is rekindled by the light of the sun and thereby lives anew. And the stars shine forth in their own light as though alive." She understood that there is more to a blade of grass than just its small stature and green color. There is a sacred aliveness in that blade of grass, and its existence is integral to the balance of life all around it. It is just as essential to the fabric of life as she is as a human being. Hildegard, I think, was telling us that the cure for what ails us as a society is all around us. We just have to pay attention. I think tending to all that is around us teaches us an exceptionally simple but important lesson. We all need tenderness, time, and care, just like the flowers in Throop's garden. We all live through times of verdancy and times of fallowness. We all have times of pruning and times of growth. We all have times of independence and times of cooperation. And at the time of death, our being makes way for more life. Couldn't our world use a little more Viriditas right now? Its wisdom is simple and true. The greening power of life surrounds all of us and is within all of us. So, church, this morning I ask, to what and to whom do you want to channel your creative greening power? What areas of your life need some pruning? What do you need to offer more water and sunshine within yourself? How can our connection to all that is sacred empower and embolden this work? I pray that as alive, kinetic, and creative Throop's Garden is, we can embody that in ourselves and in the world around us. May we be the people who adorn all the earth, who feed the purest streams, who call forth tears, and are the yearning for good. May it be so, blessed be, and amen. I invite you now to stand in body or spirit as we sing our closing hymn, Answering the Call of Love, number 1014 in the Teal hymnal, 1014.
The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love.
Church, we have come to the end of our service, and as we move toward our benediction, I remind you to please join us for continued connection and joy, and of course, importantly, coffee after our service in the hall behind you and to my right. So I invite you to place a hand on your heart, to reach out a hand to someone else in the room. Our chalice is now extinguished, but we carry its light within us. The benediction, these words come from Hildegard herself. Good people, most royal greening verdancy, rooted in the sun, you shine with radiant light. In this circle of earthly existence, you shine so finely, it surpasses understanding. You are encircled by the arms of the mystery of the Spirit. May you go in peace. Blessed be, and amen.